ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is your Friday, and it's time to go. The Drive is now ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Thanks for being a part of our Friday edition as you get set wherever you're at. If you're listening live or on our podcast, we definitely appreciate you being here. Hey, I was over at Marshall today getting camp started. Day one, fall camp. We're going to hear from Tony Gibson in just a few minutes. He had a lot to say about the Thundering Herd, where the team is at right now. He's a straightforward guy. That's one thing that I love about him and all the interactions I've had with him so far and the opportunities that we've had to go cover him at any event. He just says what it's about. He's not fluffing it up. He's not putting it out there in convoluted terms. Man, he's just straight shooting. I love this guy. So we're going to hear from him in just a few minutes. And, of course, we're going to hear from you. As I mentioned, it's our Friday show. I'm going to be off next week. So we're going to have Ben Anderson come in. And I've already told Ben he's got to go to camp. So Ben will be going to camp. We'll have all of the updates from camp next week as things get started tomorrow in earnest for the Thundering Herd. But that still means plenty of time for you to join us on our text line as we get you set for the weekend. A lot of things happening today. Yesterday, of course, I think the official start of football season, preseason, has begun. The NFL Hall of Fame game in Canton, a game that really wasn't interesting at all. Chargers beat the Lions 34-7. Okay, it's football. Yeah, it's football. It gets better. I know you got to have practice games, and that's fine. We've just really blown these practice games up, but they're important. So preseason football has begun. Some depth the Bengals adding on Thursday, signing veteran free agent tight end Noah Fant to a one-year deal. And then not that long ago, the new stadium lease for the Cincinnati Bengals approved. Now, there was a little holdup on this. Hamilton County Commissioners approved the 11-year lease on Thursday. It includes $470 million in renovations to Paycor Stadium. The Bengals at the time didn't sign off on it just yet because they wanted to see the final version. Well, they've looked at it. It's all good. It's approved. The lease will keep the team through 2036 in downtown Cincinnati. It also includes 10 additional option years that could extend it through 2046. At this point, when we get to 2046, will it be time to build a new stadium for the Cincinnati Bengals? Or could the Bengals at that point say, okay, we can put some more upgrades and some renovations here? I think if you can get to 46 years for a stadium like Paycor, I think you're doing good. And so that's good news if you're a Bengals fan like me. Now, if you are a TBT fan and you're a Best Virginia fan, today is sort of a day in mourning as yesterday, Eberlin Drive beat Best Virginia 85-77. So it was a good run for Best Virginia. Unfortunately, it comes to an end. And I'll tell you what, I really thought that Best Virginia could get to the championship game. At this point, I was sitting there thinking, they might be able to do it. They might be able to pull this off and get to that title game, but it wasn't going to be for Best Virginia. But I'm sure folks at the Charleston Civic Center Coliseum are really happy with the crowds. Charleston, of course, got to host everything up until this game Thursday. Now that Best Virginia's out, Charleston's out of the mix. Also, baseball action coming up tonight. We've got the Pirates taking on Colorado. We go on the air at 7:45 tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Guardians will play host to the Twins coming up later on this evening at 7:10. And, of course, football season is what we're getting ready for, so we'll get those texts loaded up now. We'll do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also, it's old hat by now, right? We just expected the Marshall men's soccer team picked second in the 2025 United Soccer Coaches preseason poll. That came out yesterday. And the Herd, of course, in this situation, once again, based on strength of the program. Second, Vermont's number one. Vermont's one, obviously the national champion. Marshall, the runner-up, number two. Now, is Marshall the second best team in the country? Chris Grassie's going to tell you, yeah, we're the best team, or we're going to go out there and prove we're the best team. So, Herd starting pretty high. Now, Fans First is the game that they call it, where it's an exhibition, August 9th against Villanova. And so that's going to be 7:15, and then you're going to have contest against Radford at 7:15 as well. And again, that's considered to be a Fans First match. That's an opportunity for you to get in, see the Herd. Don't have to pay anything. It's an opportunity for maybe some people who usually don't get a chance to go to soccer games, or maybe you want to check out what the Herd's all about. So you get Fan First matches at Hoops Family Field coming up against Villanova and Radford coming up next week. And then, of course, Herd getting set for the season after a road trip to Maryland will take on George Mason on August 22nd. So a busy time for Thundering Herd Athletics. Let's get our text line going, and we're going to come back from break. We're going to hear from the head coach, Tony Gibson, and we'll do that while we get your text ready. If you've got any kind of thoughts, questions, upcoming season, what do you want to hear? What do you want to see from the Thundering Herd? Now's the time. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Tony Gibson will get his thoughts on camp. We've got a lot to get into with him when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's country cooking in downtown Huntington at 9th Street Diner. 9th Street Diner is Huntington's only authentic country diner, located in the heart of downtown Huntington at 534 9th Street. Enjoy a home-cooked meal with their great daily specials like a classic Reuben, meatloaf, baked steak, spaghetti and meatballs, prime rib, and Taco Tuesdays. Pre-order their bread and rolls for catering. 9th Street Diner, open Monday through Thursday 11 to 8 and Friday 8 to 8. 9th Street Diner, country cooking in downtown Huntington.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Poca Valley Bank locations today. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Best Deal Equipment, the best deal on farm and industrial equipment. On-the-spot financing, visit 5000 Ripley Road, Cottageville, West Virginia. Black Sheep Harley-Davidson, where legends are built. Your dream starts at Black Sheep Harley-Davidson, 403 4th Street in Huntington. Online at blacksheephd.com. And Secure Construction Company, roofing, windows, siding, doors, kitchens, and more. Visit secureconstruction.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. when you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The soundtrack to your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, August 1st, it's City Heat on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kid Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Join us August 8th for the 9th Street Live debut of the Kind Thieves. Mark your calendar for August 15th for the Thundering Herd Rally featuring Marshall teams Marco, the Marching Thunder, and Madhouse. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day, 9th Street in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communications. This Friday, it's City Heat at Mount West 9th Street Live. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our Friday text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's time to get a little from the head coach, Tony Gibson. Today, we're opening up camp. All the work gets underway in earnest starting tomorrow. We're going to find out, but there's an excitement in the air. There's a feeling that, hey, season's almost here. We're getting ready for the start of it. Georgia, that's coming up, but it's day one. There's a lot of energy. And head coach Tony Gibson, we had a chance to catch up with him earlier this morning, and he just talked about having that energy. You know, the energy's there for day one. Now you got to get that ready and going for day 2, day 3, day 4. Just continually keep that energy going, but the energy is there.
You know, first day of fall camp, everybody's excited. Day one energy. The goal for us as a staff is to keep day one energy all the way to August 30th and beyond. But that's the goal right now. So, but excited about where we're at. I want to thank our strength staff. They did a great job this summer getting our guys in shape. And when we first got here, obviously everybody was new. You know, strength staff had to learn our schemes, what we were doing, the tempo we wanted to play with. So, you know, we were a little bit behind in spring as far as that goes, but Coach Deej and his staff did a great job of getting our guys in shape, ready to roll. So I feel really good about where they're at. Body weights are good. Feel like our guys are in the best shape they've been in, obviously, since they've been here.
So he feels good. You heard Jalen Slappy talk about this during Sunbelt Media Days. He talked about muscles and spots he didn't think he could have muscles. So it seems that the off-season workout program has paid off. We'll see more, hopefully, in the next few weeks. And with the start of the season, we'll truly know then if everything is starting to really come together and pay off for this team. But Coach excited. I mean, for him, this is the best. I mean, it's like Christmas, is it not? This is the best time of the year.
You know, for us as a coaching staff, this is the best time of year. Yeah, you got 16 days of fall camp, and, you know, we're going to use every minute we can use. There's no time restrictions. We have no classes. This is the best time of year to be a football coach. You don't have to worry about anything but coaching football, meetings, bonding your team together, things like that. So, again, this is my favorite time. You know, the next 16 days, again, is all about building our team on and off the field. You know, we need to bond. We need to get to know each other. We do have some new faces, guys that were not here in the spring that came in the spring portal. So excited about those guys and get them adapted to what we're all about and what we're going to do.
That's the big deal right there. Just sit back, coach. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have restrictions. You don't have anything to worry about other than meetings and coaching and bonding with your team, gelling, putting everything together. And the important thing, however, that came out of Coach's initial statement and thoughts, he's making sure at least he's trying to put this team in a situation where every day has to be a good day. He cannot afford, or at least that's his take, he can't afford any wasted practices.
You know, the one thing about this is we can't afford to have bad days. So we have to stack good day after good day, and we can't have bad practices. We could have started fall camp on, Monday or Tuesday, but keeping these guys here all summer long, we're allowed to work with them on the field. There's a football now that's allowed to be involved with walkthroughs and different things. So, we got a lot of work done in June. And when I gave the coaches a little break in July, the kids did a really good job of keeping that going. So I feel like we're ahead of where we need to be right now. And now it's our job as coaches to get them fitting in our schemes.
There is a sense of urgency in his voice. Would you agree? I think even though, Coach doesn't come out boisterous like previous coaches or coaches that are bombastic, but there's, at least in his messaging, there's some urgency there. And he agreed that this time of year, it's more urgent. You can't have those wasted practices because you got a lot of kids that are coming in from the portal. This is really the first time that these individuals have a chance to mesh, work together, build that chemistry, and you don't have that much time. And that's changed from years ago where your roster was pretty much set from year to year. You bring in new players to replace the graduating players. You have still some continuity. Now you don't have that continuity. And so Coach agreed that there's more urgency now due to what the portal has done to college athletics.
Yeah, that's obviously that's the main reason. Just with so many new guys, and again, we control what practice looks like as a coaching staff. If we're trying to do way too much, then obviously it's going to get sloppy. We have to take baby steps, and I know coaches. I know how we are. We want it all right now. We want it to look clean, but realistically, that's not going to happen. So what we have to be able to do is get through day one and day two, and it's an underwear practice. So how much are you really going to get done? I want to see guys communicating, flying around, great energy, and coming together. And then as we start getting pads on, obviously that's going to start slowing some guys down a little bit. We just have to make sure we don't waste days and try to do way too much way too early.
Tony Gibson, head coach of the Marshall Thundering, heard his comments from earlier today as fall camp getting underway. So one thing that is certain, with all of the new players that are coming in, with the amount of players that you had to replace, you don't have necessarily the continuity. You have guys that were with Marshall, and we're going to talk about those guys in just a few minutes. Coach had an interesting thought on them. But the good news is every position, and it always should be this way, but every position right now, at this point, up for grabs.
We do have a lot of position battles going on. There's position battles all over the depth chart. So, and I told our staff the other day that the best way to use our depth chart is to use it. We can't just put a guy in the one hole there and leave him there if he's not performing. And we have to mix it up. I want pressure on these guys every day we take the field. I don't want anybody getting comfortable and thinking that they're the guy. So we're going to push it. We're going to mix it up. And our evaluation of that is what they do every day, obviously. And we are going to have 2 live scrimmages during fall camp. Coming out of the 16th after that scrimmage, that will be we'll set the depth chart and move forward from there. Until that time, there are guys slated to be a 1 or a 2 or a 3 right now, but we have to start somewhere. So there's nothing set in stone with that.
So nothing's set in stone. His words exactly. But he's got an idea. He's not just coming into this going, okay, you guys, he's got an idea. And part of that is based on, there's some kids that are coming in that he's familiar with. There are players that he knows what their capabilities are, what they're able to do. Of course, no one's won the job just yet. Everyone's going to have to go out there and compete. But Coach does have a framework in mind. Nothing set in stone, but he does have a framework in mind based on some player familiarity.
Yeah, and the perfect example of that are Cannon Lewis, Jalen Parker, Jacoby Baldwin, Josh Pierre-Lewis. All those guys were with me at NC State. So they understand what this is all about, what I expect, how we're going to practice, all those things. And then on the offensive side, with Coach Smith, Zion Turner, he was with him for a year at Jacksonville State, Floyd Lacey. So we have some guys that are very familiar with the staff, and we're familiar with them. And then the guys coming back from spring got a taste of it. Obviously, spring was a lot easier. We weren't preparing for a game. But I think that our kids have done a great job of grasping our culture, the efforts that we're going to play with on the field, and I think they understand that. So I think that will be a little easier starting fall camp because of the expectation coming out of spring.
So at this point, how you feeling? We've asked that several times throughout the course of the year. How you feeling at this point right now about Coach Gibson? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Are your expectations now the same, higher, lower? Where are you at? And we're going to hear more from Coach on day one of fall camp. And we're also going to hear from you. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We'll have more from Coach Gibson when we continue, and we'll hear from you on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We're with Sue from Sue's Junk. Tell folks how they can sell their stuff on your parking lot.
You can sit out on the parking lot. On Wednesdays, it's free all day, $10 a spot, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
What's hot at Sue's Junk?
The top 4 things this week are Blanco glass, swung vases, uranium, and jar jewelry. It comes in every day and it goes out every day.
Sue's Junk and Antique Mall, 459 Camden Road in Huntington.
Lawrence County Developmental Disabilities provides vital services for individuals with special needs and their families, offering care and peace of mind every step of the way.
And it's just an amazing service that Lawrence County has. And we're lucky that we have it, and people struggle, and they need services like this.
Learn more about the difference Lawrence County Developmental Disabilities makes for our community at lawrencecountydd.org.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790 or biglou.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these two simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Our text line is open, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to our Friday edition of The Drive right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've been listening in a little bit of Coach Gibson, his comments ahead of fall camp. And we've been talking a little bit about the roster and the battles that are going to ensue. One question that was asked was about the quarterback battle. Now, we have an idea of if the season started today, and that's a big hypothetical, if the season started today, who would be the quarterback? Well, right now, it would be Carlos Del Rio Wilson. That's based on everything leading up to today. Is there a thought that Zion Turner could be in the mix here? Jaquai Long, could he be in the mix? We don't know. But they do have an opportunity to put themselves in the mix and to really make themselves stand out. That was a question that was asked of Coach earlier today. What is he looking for when this quarterback battle begins? What's he looking for one guy to stand above the rest? What's that thing?
Everything I talked about in New Orleans is where we were at today. Carlos earned that coming out of spring. Now Carlos is going to have to earn that every single day because Zion and Jaquai are right there. And, the biggest thing I look for from a quarterback, he is the face of our program. And guys are going to look to him. And, they can't have bad days. They can't, pout. They can't, they throw an interception. They can't bring the whole team down. So what they have to do is be able to take care of the football, be great leaders, and, they have to be the ones that rise up when things start to go bad, because everybody's going to look to them. And then, as we all know, they touch the ball every snap, so it's very important. They have to be mentally tough.
So we're going to get a good look at what a quarterback means at Marshall University in the next few weeks, because the one that stands out the most is going to embody all of that. That's a good point. Face of the program. When we talk about some of the great Marshall teams of yesteryear, who are we talking about first? We're talking about Chad Pennington, right? Byron. We're on first name basis with these guys. Chad Pennington, all-time great. Byron Leftwich, all-time great. Michael Payton, I'd throw his name in that conversation, led Marshall to its first national championship. Leader. Yeah, we talk about guys like Randy Moss as well. And we talk about some of the other important members of that team. But who are the guys that we talk about the most? It's Chad. It's Byron. And for someone a little older like myself, it's Michael. So the quarterback position, very key, and it's going to be the face of the program. It's the leader. It is the head of the herd on that football field. Now, we've been talking about roster management, and that's going to be big. I mean, depth chart's out today over herdzone.com, and that's it. We're not going to see much more from the depth chart because roster limits are a thing now, and you're going to have to manage your roster. You're going to have to make the most out of your depth, because we're in that world now where roster limits are a thing, and what you got is what you got. So that's going to be very important as far as how you manage the roster you have. Here's Coach's thoughts on that.
We have to be smart. The biggest change right now from us that we're all used to in college football is a roster limit of 125, 130, things like that as we get in. So we have to be smart with our scout teams, the limited number now of players that we can use, and we're not getting any more when school starts. We are at 105 right now today, and we're going to be at 105 when the season ends. We have to be really, really good and obviously stay healthy. That's the big key for us. Obviously, we can't control that piece of it, but we do have to be smart as we get into this season. Obviously, as we all know, it's a long, long year. So that's going to be the biggest difference that really none of us are used to, of having a limited number of roster.
Long term, I'm curious to see what that looks like for the entirety of college football. Now, if you're a big program, you're going to have depth. Doesn't matter what your roster size is going to be, you're going to have depth if you're a big program. But you're going to have to make some decisions. Okay, there's a guy that normally we would keep on roster. He'd be a project. We'd love to have him. He'd fill out a role for us, but maybe we can't keep him now, and that player could go elsewhere and maybe develop elsewhere and develop into a starter. Opportunities, while great, each team locked at 105. You sign on to this, you're locked at 105. And so no more of the, we got a few guys here, they're not getting much playing time, but they're on the team. If you've got a limit, you're going to have to use every single individual on this team to the best of your ability. So that's going to be big for this team as far as that roster management is concerned. Now, with all of this said, fall camp is a great opportunity to go out there and just get to work. And Coach talked about that today. Talked about how this team and this roster, all these guys are out there, they're excited to get to work. But Coach is a little peeved as well. He understands that this Thundering Herd football team isn't getting respect. And I don't think that he's putting bulletin board material up in the locker room, but at the same time, he knows it, the team knows it, and they're a little annoyed by that.
Right now, not a lot of people respect us, which, that's fine. I mean, I don't know how you could predict how a team's going to do with 72 new guys. Hell, I wish I knew. But right now, what I'm excited about is, again, we get to go out and we get to go 11 on 11. Starting on Monday, we're going to get some pads on. We get to go the inside run and all those things that makes football fun. And so I'm really, really looking forward to watching these guys grow. And right now, we're pissed off where we're projected, but like I said, we're either going to prove them right or prove them wrong, and we control that.
I like it. Absolutely. Coach is just straight up telling you, hey, you know what? We're pissed, and we're going to go out there and we're going to prove them right, or we're going to prove them wrong. But we don't like it. We don't accept it. We're not getting any respect. That's where I like to function from. Like, okay, you don't respect me. I'm going to prove you wrong, or I'm going to prove you right. But I'm not liking it, and I'm not going to stand by. And so I like that attitude. Texter says, Paul, Coach sounds like a realist, knowing what the challenges are. His comments, along with those of new AD Harrison, have me re-energized after the downer of the bowl game withdrawal. Expectations? I look for an entertaining season. Appreciate the thoughts in the text. That is something that I've heard from a lot of people. AD Harrison, there are people who want to run through a wall for that man tomorrow. Not tomorrow, yesterday. They want to run through a wall yesterday for him. And then, of course, I like the fact that, and we haven't got a game to watch yet. We haven't seen one game. We haven't gone through one season yet. But I like the fact that this coach means what he says what he means. And again, and this isn't a knock on any other coach that has been at Marshall University, but this man is straight shooting with you right now. He's not dancing around it. He's not giving you a 4-minute explanation to come to no explanation at the end of the statement. Instead, he's straight out laying it out for you. I am excited myself to go and talk to him every week during football season because I don't have to dance around questions. Coach, what do you think? He's going to tell you. At least at this point. At this juncture, he's just going to flat out tell you. And I think you got an idea already of what it's going to be like. He's not going to sugarcoat it with his players. I mean, he's not going to be – I think tough love's probably fair. He's going to come out and be honest. Hey, this is where you're at. It's not good today. Now, this is what we got to do to get that to good. I like that take. You're not good today. This is what we need to do to get it to good and to better and to perfect if we can. We got more to get into, but I want to hear from you. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Our final segment's coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all three if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Open the door to huge savings with a new Ideal garage door. Choose from our large in-stock selection. or design the perfect garage door for your home using our free design program. Visit us today in store or on Menards.com and get an ideal garage door that's right for you. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The soundtrack to your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, August 1st, it's City Heat on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Join us August 8th for the 9th Street Live debut of The Kind Thieves. Mark your calendar for August 15th for the Thundering Herd Rally featuring Marshall teams Marco, the Marching Thunder, and Madhouse. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day, 9th Street in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communications. This Friday, it's City Heat at Mount West 9th Street Live.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you. We will hear from you on Monday, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Today, had an opportunity to head over to the Shoey and talk to the head coach, Tony Gibson. We've been playing some of his comments from earlier in the day, and a lot of it's had to do with roster management, the competition. We're going to have a quarterback battle because the quarterback position, of course, is the face of the program. That's going to be the guy that's going to have to go out there, be the leader, set the tone. Speaking of leaders, I asked, who stepped into a leadership role with this team? There are so many names. We don't know them all just yet. If you try to learn them all, good luck. Eventually we'll learn them all, we'll know them all, but there's a lot of unknowns with this team. New coach, new players. Again, coach said 72 new guys. So we're trying to figure out who's stepping up right now. Who's a guy that we need to pay attention to? And I think the good news for at least a lot of Herd fans is there's some familiar names already coming out of Coach's thought process.
Yeah, Jalen Slappy is the guy that comes to mind first. Obviously, Jalen is big in he has been, a true Marshall Thundering Herd football guy. And he loves this university, loves his team, and he has really impressed me over the last 8 months. I mean, he was one of the first guys I met with when I got here. He stuck with us. He's bonded that O-line room together, and that's probably the closest group on the roster right now is that O-line room, because we did have a lot of guys coming back. Ben Turner is a guy that has done a really, really good job of being a leader in the way he works, the way he does things. We have one of our new guys that just got here in the summer was Tony Mathis. I mean, what a great young man he is, a leader. Coming off an injury where he didn't play, has had a lot of production at a high level. And, I'm really, really impressed with him. Michael Allen is a guy that was with us at NC State as well that, he's done a good job. But, I could go all throughout. I could name 40, 50 guys in my mind that are doing the right things right now. Toby Payne is a guy that stepped up. Toby doesn't say a lot, but when he talks, guys listen. And just because of who he is and the way he works and all those things.
It's a big list right there. And Coach followed that up with a question about a lot of the guys that stayed. You heard their names. These guys decided to stay with Marshall. They don't know Coach Gibson. They know that they're players for Marshall. They are on the Thundering Herd team, and that means something to them. And those guys mean a lot to Coach Gibson because they stayed committed to the school, and they're kind of already showing up as the leaders on the football field in and out of the Shoey.
Yeah, they're special to me, and they always will be. Obviously, this is my first team here, and those guys are a big, big part of that. And they're guys that stay for the right reasons. They weren't chasing money. They weren't chasing – the only thing they wanted to do is they wanted to do what was best for Marshall and how are we going to build this thing back, Coach. And they were a part of it. They helped in recruiting. They help in the community. They're out there. They're doing things that we don't even see, that I hear about secondhand from other people. Hey, man, Toby was here, or Jalen was here, or Tony Mathis was here. Just guys that are getting out, doing things the right way. So I'm proud of them for that. And they are special to me, the guys that stayed and believed in us and believe in Marshall.
Tony Gibson speaking with the media earlier today. All right, one question that had to be asked. Tyler Kennett, HD Media, had to know. He qualified this by saying, look, Coach, I know none of us would make the team. You don't want any of us in the media room on the team. But what would a day of fall camp look like? I don't know if anyone other than the players on this roster could cut it for Coach Gibson in fall camp.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, hard day's work. Training room opens at 6 a.m. We're going to feed them good in the morning, and everything that we do is morning out on the grass. So we'll have morning meetings. We'll be on the grass every day about 9:30. And that will last as long as it needs to last to get our work done. We have scheduled a 2-hour practice, but if it takes 2 hours and 40 minutes to get our work in, we're going to do that. And then after that, we'll give them a little breather, feed them lunch, bring them back, lift them, meet, do all those things, and then feed them again, have a few more meetings, and then feed them again about 8 or 9 at night. So they're going to be putting down some calories. And also you got to weigh in and out every day too, a couple times a day to make sure we're holding our weight. And then some guys, we're going to see how hard they work. If they're gaining weight, we know they're not doing enough at practice. So a lot of you guys would be on the diet list. You'd only get probably some vegetables or something, including me.
Coach, eat those carrots. Eat that broccoli, Coach. Everybody. Coach Gibson is serious, and he's ready to go. So camp, getting us one step closer to the start of football season. There is a sense of optimism that I'm feeling from a lot of people. Now, of course, it's the start of camp. Obviously, there's a sense of optimism always at the start of camp. Everyone is undefeated. Nobody's lost a game just yet. Coach is winning the press conference. The new athletic director winning the press conference. So there's a lot going on right now that keeps people excited. Herd building a program from scratch, it feels like. 72 new players. And this team knows it. This team has that chip on its shoulder. I like that attitude. That you don't respect us, and that's fine. We're going to go out there and handle our business. Not, we'll see how we do. No, it's straight up, we're going to either prove you're right or wrong, but we're going to come out there and handle our business. And that's an attitude that I like, and he's not sugarcoating anything. That's what I've been looking for. That's the phrase, the word I've been looking for. He's not sugarcoating anything. He's straight up telling you, hey, look, this is what it's going to be. We're going to go out there. You're going to have to be hardworking. We're going to tell you if you're getting it right. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to get it right. We're going to work hard. And there seems to be a lot of accountability as well with this team. I mean, you can hear from him. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to be regimented to the point where these kids don't have the opportunity to breathe, but they've got a lot of structure right now, and I feel good about it. And, of course, obviously, it's started fall camp. Everything is optimistic right now for this team. Next week, Ben Anderson's going to fill in for us. He's going to be at camp on those select days that we get a chance to hear from the coach and the coordinators, and so he'll bring that to you next week. I will be off. You can still find me. I'll be around. You can catch me on X at Paul Swann, and of course, you can find me on all the other networks, social media outlets. I've got a link there on my profile, but I've got to take time off, or I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to be gone for a week, and then I will be back ready to go. I'm going to go to mini camp. I'm going to go to mini camp for myself, and then come back and I'll be ready to go. But hey, I'm looking forward to coming back already. I know time off is supposed to be fun, so I'm looking forward to just having a few days, and then I'll be coming back, and I'll be happy to be with you once again. So if you would like, I would appreciate it. Please find me on social media. I'm on X at Paul Swann, and instead of listing all the other places I'm at, all you have to do is hit that link. That'll take you to all the platforms that you can follow me. So if you're not on a specific platform just yet and you'd like to, you can find me there and you can start following me. So I do appreciate it. And don't forget, we've got the podcast coming up. It'll be available later tonight. For those of you that listen live, I appreciate it. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, I appreciate that as well. And so we'll be back with you. I'll be back with you in a week. Ben will be back with you on Monday. Don't forget, we got Pirates baseball coming up tonight, 7:45 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And that's going to do it. Thanks for being a part of it. I really do appreciate it. And I will be back with you in a week's time. Have a great weekend, and don't forget, we got a lot going on next week. So still plenty to get into with Ben when he takes over the show for the week. And you can text him as well. Let him know how he's doing. Be good to him. I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.